everyone. This is Sonia Cato Howard, and I am partnering with my business partner, Kimmy McNeese, and together we are doing eWomen. We have a Atlanta eWomen meetup online. We hope that you will join us on every first and third Tuesdays at 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. And of course, we're doing the Facebook Live messages every Wednesday night is for myself, and then Kimmy is on every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Tonight, of course, I have to talk about my story. My story is a story of abortion. At the age of 14, I got pregnant by my 14-year-old boyfriend, and I was terrified. I was pretty sure my mom was going to kill me, and so I went to his mom instead. And his mom was just the sweetest lady ever. I don't know where her and why she was encouraging me, but she was the one who was saying, Sonia, it's going to be okay. You know, I'm going to be here for you, and I'm going to help you with the baby, and you know, everything that she could say. But of course, you know, I asked her, I said, well, can you go with me to go tell my mom? And she did. And what came out my mom's mouth really was a surprise. And I was not expecting it. My mom said to me, if you have this baby, you're going to do it by yourself. Or you can have an abortion. I didn't know what an abortion was. But since my mom was saying that I did not have to have the baby, then okay, let's do that. Let's do whatever you say do. So that's what I did. My mom made an appointment for me at a Planned Parenthood clinic, and we went down there before dawn. I remember it was very dark. The women was walking up to all the girls who were going inside the clinic, and I was praying that no one would walk up to me, and no one did. I got inside the clinic. It was so many girls. Some of the girls were with their moms, some were with their friends, and some were actually with their boyfriends. We sat there all day long. And finally, they called my name. There were some girls who actually changed their minds. I don't know what happened, but they changed their minds and they left. I remember one girl found out she was having twins and she changed her mind. They finally called my name and they gave me a pregnancy test. And the pregnancy test came back. I guess the pregnancy test was, they said my baby wasn't big enough. So I needed to go home for 2 weeks and then I could come back and have my abortion. And I remember being devastated and just upset because in between that 2 weeks was Mother's Day. And I didn't want to be pregnant on Mother's Day. Well, I went through for 2 weeks crying and, you know, whatever you do when you know that you're pregnant and you don't want to be pregnant. And then this time his mom went with me. My mom said that she had to work and she couldn't get the day off, but I knew deep down inside that it was just too much for her. She couldn't handle it. So his mom went with me, and of course she tried to talk me out of it the entire time. But because my mom said she was not going to support me, that's what I needed to do. I didn't really care what she had to say. So once again, when we got there, the women were walking up to the girls, talking to them. I was praying that no one would stop me, and no one did. We got inside, same thing, sat there the whole day. I don't know why they make you all wait all day, but the whole day crying, everybody crying. And then finally they called me. I sat down with a counselor who told me that, you know, your life, this is the best decision for you. Your life is going to go back to normal, and this is a safe procedure. And at that moment, that's when I started to cry, because deep down inside, I knew it was a baby. And I said, I don't want to kill my baby. And then she said, it's not a baby. It's just a blob of tissue. And I thought to myself, oh, it's not a baby. Okay, well, in that case, yeah, let's do it. And I signed the dotted line to abort my baby. I remember they took me to the back of the room, and I remember lying on the hard, cold, steel table and looking up at the bright light and counting backwards. They wanted me to count backwards. And then what seemed like the very next moment, I was being awakened. And the lady said to me, take your time. I need you to get up, sit on the edge of the table. And when you feel sturdy enough, then you can, go into the other room and get dressed. I remember looking around and there were so many girls on the edge of the table. Like about 10 of us who had just had the same procedures. I got up, I put on my clothes, I went in the next room, and they gave me 2 cookies and some juice, and they sent me home. I remember riding in the car with his mom and knowing deep down inside that I had done something wrong. But I felt so relieved, like, wow, now no one has to know I'm pregnant. No one has to know that I'm 14 and pregnant. Back then, we didn't go to school pregnant. And so I got home. My mom was not at home. She was at work. And that's when it hit me, like the biggest hole in my stomach ever, just filled with pain. And I began to scream at the top of my lungs. What have I done? Oh my God, I just killed my baby. And I started to cry. And I just screamed and cried and screamed. And at that moment, I knew that God would never forgive me. God would never give me another baby. And that I wasn't worthy to be loved. That no one would love me again. Well, after about a couple of weeks of crying, now I'm crying because I'm not pregnant. The Planned Parenthood made sure I had plenty of birth control. And now, because of all the crying, I had lost so much weight. I had actually never been that small in my life. I was always kind of a chunky plus size girl. And now I was all the way down to, I don't even know, like a 6 or 7. I had always been on 11 and 12. So now I'm really thin. I'm feeling really good about myself. And I had plenty of birth control. So now I knew all I needed to do was not get pregnant. I could have sex, but not get pregnant. And that's exactly what I did. I had sex. I would meet a guy. I think he cute. And back then, the way you could get to me was to take me to a movie, get me out of the house. I was the only child, and I just wanted to get out of the house. So the guy would take me to a movie, and I like him, and I give him some. And then I would find out he's a jerk, and then I would go on to another guy. This went on for quite a while in my life. And then I joined the Navy, and I'm sure you've heard the phrase, what is it called? A Navy sailor. I don't know, like sleeping around like a Navy sailor. I don't know what the term is, but listen, that name is true. So I met so many guys, and it's no different actually than what we do today. A girl meet a guy, she like him, I'm gonna give him some. She give him some, and then she find out he's a jerk and she cut him loose. Then she meet another guy. In fact, it's expected that that's what you're supposed to do today. So throughout these years, I ended up getting married. I'm sure my family in Chicago going to hear this message, but I married my husband, and I didn't really even love him. I married him because I needed to be rescued. So I figured if I get married, I'll be with one guy, and I married him, and then eventually he left me. But the point is of this whole story is that for the next 20 years, I always cried. I always thought about my baby. I always wondered, now I always said she would be 2. Now she would be 5. Now she would be 15. Oh, she would be going to college. Oh, now she would be married. And so it was something that tormented me all the time. I always thought about this baby and I always didn't feel worthy, which is why I allowed guys to treat me certain ways, right? Well, I've never really let nobody treat me bad, but still being used for sex. And so it wasn't until about 10 years ago that I was talking to a friend, and a girlfriend of mine she was talking about her ministry. I was talking about my ministry, and we both realized that the reason we were so passionate about it was because we both had abortions. Because your pain sometimes end up being your ministry. A lot of times it does. And so that's why we were so passionate about helping these young girls or young women. And so we talked about it. It was my first time confessing to anyone that I had the abortion. And then we cried. And then when she left, I cried for several more hours. And that's when I just said, Lord, please, I need you to take this pain away from me. I am just so tired of crying. I'm so tired of hiding. I'm so tired of keeping this secret and hurting. I need you to take this pain away from me. And I want to tell you that immediately I felt like God hugged me and was like, I know, Sonia, I already forgave you. You need to forgive yourself. I'm telling you, that day my life changed. Right after that, I ended up going and at church, and the church was saying, hey, everybody reach out, find a ministry in the hallway. We're doing outreach this week. I found a girl standing at a booth talking about a pregnancy center. And she was saying they were building a new one. And then she was like, I had an abortion. And I remember looking around thinking, oh my God, you telling everybody like your secret. And she just went on talking about how she had an abortion and everything. And I'm just like, oh my God, I did too. So we're sitting there talking, and, I signed up with the pregnancy center, and then I ended up volunteering there. And while I was there, they had a Set Free and Forgiven Bible study. I went through that Bible study, and oh my God, it changed my life. I was able to mourn my baby. When you have a baby, you're pregnant, the whole pregnancy, and you lose that baby, you get to mourn that baby. You get to name that baby. You get to acknowledge that baby. When you have an abortion, when you go into a clinic and abort your baby and walk away, you don't even acknowledge that it happened. You forget that it happens. Nobody gets to acknowledge. So you never get to mourn that baby. I was able to name my baby, to mourn my baby, to write a letter to my baby, to talk to God about my baby, to really understand who I am and how much God loves me in spite of the abortion. And that Bible study just changed my whole world. It did. So I just kind of wanted to tell you about that. Of course, God went on to use me to talk about, to help everybody, and it just bloomed from there to that. I actually wrote a book. I'm going to put my book in the thing. It's called Almost Wasn't. And so I'll put that in there. It's my story. I work with Dr. King, Avita King, who's a pro-life advocate. And we go around, and I've spoken different places with her. So that's where it leads me to today, why we're doing E-Women, because I know that there are so many women out there who've had abortion. Unfortunately, abortion is normal. There are so many people who've had abortions, and there are so many people who are still hurting from those abortions, who have never been healed. For me, let me go backwards and say, what a lot of people don't know about these abortion clinics, these Planned Parenthood clinics, is that they get paid for abortion. It's a job, right? It's a business. They get paid for the number of abortions that they have. They get paid for, if you're having twins, they get paid double, So they'll lie to you and tell you that you're pregnant and you're not. They'll lie to you and tell you that you're pregnant with twins and you're not. They're not regulated. So you're putting your life in danger. There are still women dying on abortion tables today, still. There are men that are hurting from abortions because you have women who they know it's not they know it's not his baby, so they abort the baby. It's many reasons why the girls abort anyway. When you have a father who's saying, I want to be a father. And there are men that are hurting for babies that are being aborted because they cannot do anything. That girl is her body and they can't do anything about it. So what I want to tell you is that if you have had an abortion, please get some help. Please start to heal. There are so many crisis centers that you can call. There are pregnancy crisis centers. There are crisis hotlines that you can call. Get some help. Start to heal. I know a lot of women have nightmares about the babies. One of the things I learned was that sometimes when women go to the dentist, they will cry. They don't know why they're crying. It's because the drill of the dentist is the same drilling sound when they're drilling to get the baby out of you. It's the same sound. A lot of women don't know that. So it's so many reasons that people need to heal. It's affecting your relationships. You don't know why. That abortion is because you don't feel like you deserve to be loved. It's so many things that it affects that people don't even realize. Also, if you didn't have an abortion, you still may be doing some things that are evidence of you hurting from something, right? I'm talking about abortion. I used mine. I covered mine up with sex. But if you find, you show me somebody that's an alcoholic, that's a person that's hurting from something. I don't know what. Maybe not an abortion. Maybe they've been raped, physically abused, mentally abused, molested. I don't know. But alcoholics, they're covering up their pain with alcohol. You have people who are 400 pounds, they're covering up their pain from something that happened. You have drug addicts, they're covering up the pain. Everybody got pain everywhere and they're not dealing with the pain. So my story was sex, but it's lots of people that are covering up their pain with other things. And so I want to urge you, I don't care what you're hurting from, get some help. Start to heal. Call the crisis line. Get some help. Also, let's see. I think that's all I wanted to say. So I hope that my story helped. I know everybody is not bold to talk about their story and what they're hurting from. What you will find out about me is that I tell all my business. I figure if I tell you, I ain't got to worry about nobody else coming up saying, girl, I heard. I know you did because I told you. And not only that, it frees you up. So I'm free. So I can tell you all of my dirt. Hopefully my dirt will help you to start to heal from what you're hurting from. So that's my topic. I just want to tell you my story because that's why I am doing this. I want to help other people who are hurting. And once again, check us out tomorrow night because Kimmy will be on at 9 o'clock. Facebook Live. Check us out on eWomen, Atlanta eWomen meetup. First and third Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. And thanks again for watching.